Live from the Asbury Park Music Foundation and presented by Mogo, it's One More with Brian Erickson.
You ready? Welcome to One More. I'm your host, Brian Erickson. Each week, we bring in two new guests. We sit them down. We find out why they do what they do. And this week is no exception. We have guitarist and composer Alejandro Ataucusi and singer-songwriter Matty Carlock. But first, and as always, Jesse McCormick.
Hi, Brian.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, good. I'm always very impressed with your diction.
Oh, thanks. I went to theater school.
Yeah. Always very, your enunciation is on point.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I used to get grades on it.
Did you really? And how?
did.
What were those grades?
Like B to A, depending.
Yeah.
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 A lot of it was just kind of A for effort kind of deal.
Couldn't quite get rid of the full Jersey accent. You know, there was still some Wooder, some Beggle.
Some Wooder.
Wooder, yeah.
More Wooder when I was at school because I was in South Jersey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know a few people from like the Toms River area that may or may not have used the term
well, I guess
Wooder.
It's a little more.
A little further south.
Yeah.
But
how was your weekend?
it's all right. It's all right. I murdered Chris.
Yeah, he's not here anymore.
So
now I'm officially the cute one.
I gotta lay low for a while. I wish we had a laugh track sometimes.
Yeah, because without a laugh track, it's just real sad sometimes. So, with that said, One More with Brian Erickson is sponsored by Mogo. Brian, do you hear that? It's a rumbling in my stomach that can only be satisfied by the savory goodness of Mogo's Korean fusion tacos. Quick, someone get me some Mogo.
Wow! Oh my God, guys! This is public access.
I'll have you know that we are a professional show.
Featuring fresh homemade ingredients, family recipes, and a variety of menu options, Mogo is bringing traditional Korean flavor to the masses. For the last 3 years, Mogo has also been a leading sponsor of Asbury Park Live, a free weekly summer concert series run in conjunction with the Asbury Park Music Foundation. This event series not only showcases emerging and established Asbury Park acts, but also raises money for youth music education, including the launch of a new Latin music summer camp last year. That's where Chris is right now. Everything you've been told is a lie. So either visit one of their two locations on Cookman Avenue or the Asbury Park Boardwalk for casual sit-down dining or takeout. The prices are always fair, and the food is always fantastic. Mogo Korean Fusion Tacos. The words that I'm saying right now are not their real slogan. Over to you, Brian.
He is a singer and songwriter whose latest album, The Jailbirds, is available everywhere. Let us welcome Matty Carlock.
Playing with a puppy.
That's all right. Check our Facebook page to see what exactly we're talking about. There is a dog in the studio right now.
Dog.
Very small. Is it a corgi? What is it?
I don't know
it's
dogs.
A corgi.
It is a corgi, like a baby corgi, like a corgi pup.
Yes.
Would you say?
Yeah.
You want to bring?
Can I hold?
Yeah. Former guest Andrea Morgan. Everybody, welcome back.
Can I hold Winston while we?
He might get a little nippy. I feel like I'm
Ooh,
like
he's
one of those
growling
people.
already.
You want to pull up a
museum.
chair?
Yes.
Just
No,
like
I
hang
wanna
out.
interrupt his,
Oh, hi, sweetie.
Okay. All right.
Good TV.
That's good TV right there, everybody.
I literally just got bit by a dog like last month.
3 seconds ago.
Yeah, so I don't do dogs anymore.
Okay.
So, Matty,
You stick
welcome to the show.
stick to smaller, like
Well, that's pretty
gerbils and
small.
rabbits
Oh, yeah, we'll
and
go
things
smaller than
like
that.
rodents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or cats.
Okay, yeah, I like cats. I like cats. I have a cat. You have a cat?
Yeah, I do have a cat. Okay.
That's
All right.
okay.
Did I just ruin the show? I think.
No.
I
That
think
trust
Winston
me.
is just a baby and is getting antsy. That's okay.
Yeah, no, trust us. Anything that derails this show is good for the show.
Okay.
So yeah.
So hi,
no
Matty.
worries.
Welcome to
Hey,
the show.
how are you?
What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, you were here kind of watching us do this just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on over here?
Was it the Leeds episode, I think, or
No, it
maybe
was
Jesse's
Jesse.
episode? Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
I'm pointing at.
Oh wow, he's here too.
Jesse
Wow,
is
just
here.
a bevy of former guests.
Yeah.
But he's not as cool as Andrea because he did not bring
A
a
dog.
puppy. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's all right. We still
my dog, though.
we still welcome him.
He's my dog.
Your dog.
So
How nice.
yeah, that's very kind of you. So you've lived a couple different lives in your 28 or 27 or 28 years. You fronted Shai Hulud on a tour in 2016. You worked with Bulletproof Belv, the hip hop artist, and you've been a solo artist as well.
Yeah.
Where do these paths all kind of intersect?
You know, it's especially recently I've been having to I've been moving so fast since I was like 16, always working on music, that I never really thought about it. But recently I've kind of had to, do interviews now, and they ask that, and I'm like, I don't really know. But and it comes from, I guess when I was 16, like 15, 16, I was kind of born into hardcore and like skateboard culture.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So a
everything-
lot of old skateboard videos
Yeah.
kind of made their way into
Yeah.
into your music video.
Yeah, and that's all like real footage from like authentic footage of the life that I lived, like touring in hardcore bands at a young age,
Yeah.
and all that. And in that culture, skateboard culture, hardcore was a thing, and at the same time, like rap was a thing.
Yeah.
And emo music was a thing, and it was all just one thing, like graffiti, like we were all into, and it was just this like tribe of kids who were interested in all these different artistic ways to express themselves at the same time, and that's why I never thought it was weird taking on all these different projects at the same time. I was just like, oh yeah, these are all my interests in like for my whole life. Yeah, at once. Like I'll go from like Springsteen to listening to like Minor Threat to listening to like Chris Brown or something. Not Chris Brown, but like.
But yeah, I
Like-
get it, like hip hop and
Yeah,
R&B
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. What kind of early on as because you said you kind of started at age 16. So what were you listening to back then?
It's funny enough. I had cousins and people in my family who were a lot older than me, 10 years older than me, into hardcore.
Okay.
And I was always hanging out with kids who were older than me because of skateboarding. And in skateboarding, there's no age. You're just kind of like...
So it's like that movie Mid-90s is based on you,
no,
basically.
literally,
Like,
like, I
because it's
went
like
and
the
saw-
little kid
I was that kid.
kind of... Oh, yeah? You were him?
Yeah, I was like that little kid. I actually saw that movie. I was like blown away at how much I identified with it. But it was that exact same thing. And I was listening to a lot of like local New Jersey hardcore bands like Shattered Realm, for everyone their sweatshirt.
Yeah, there you go.
And like Terror, Donnybrook, but at the same time I was really listening to Thursday and like
Okay,
Under Oath
yeah.
and stuff like that. And
Well, Thursday, they're from New Brunswick, right?
Yeah.
So they're,
I
yeah.
did my first solo show with Jeff, actually.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fried Music, yeah. My first solo show ever.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
like 6 years ago. Yeah, and yeah, and you just kind of follow the culture from there and meet all these people who are older than you. But my cousin George, he told me at a family party, he was like, I was so young, and he was a lot older, and he was like, you need to listen to Shai Hulud.
There you go.
And they were the first hardcore band I ever listened to, and I ended up 10 years later being their singer.
Yeah.
And it was just so interesting.
And how long did that last? Because I didn't find too much on it. I just saw you were kind of like a touring. You
Yeah.
went on you
was
went on a
under-
tour with them a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Did you end up ever getting a record with them or anything like that? Did it ever get that far?
We spoke about it a lot, but how that happened was my band Back and Forth did a lot of shows with them.
Yeah.
And we were touring like 6 months out of the year, like crazy, living in gas, like outside gas stations and parking lots, and like
Yeah.
it was that real culture of like DIY basement touring and shit.
Yeah.
So we met Hulud through that way, and their singer quit, and they had this massive tour that was already sold out. It was Funeral for a Friend's
Oh wow.
farewell tour, and they were direct support. And they thought of me, and they gave me the job. But I had my first solo record coming out the same week I was gonna go on tour with them, so I didn't they asked me to be in the band full time, but I was like, no, I have to.
That was
I have to do
Loveless, right?
Yeah,
that
Loveless
record,
came out, and I went on tour on 14 other countries with a completely different band and with
singing
completely different genre.
this kind of like
just worked my whole
rugged
life on this thing.
singer-songwriter
Yeah,
record, and
so
then
it got
you're
done.
singing something completely different.
Yep. And so I was like, nah, I can't be in the band. And the dude from Remembering Never took my spot and did it. And I was happy for that. That was a really good experience touring all those countries. I got to go to like Romania and Serbia and play sold out shows.
And there's
all over.
no regrets
No
for
regrets,
having not, kind of
No.
jumped into an established situation.
No, because now I'm at a point now where I can't imagine not being where I'm at now, and I'm
Okay.
so happy that I'm in the situation that I'm in now. So that little 14 country tour catapulted me into experience and something on my resume to get me in situations that I'm in now, and they were my favorite band.
So then you still, even though you didn't really get to move forward with it, it seems like you really were able to use that time in your life and use that opportunity.
Yeah.
Like that's like what everybody I think wants to be able to do is even if you don't get something permanent, like a permanent position out of it, you get maybe some level of permanence after the fact, just because you get the opportunity to do that.
I had a very specific goal with it. Was like they had a lot of different singers, and like I said, they were my favorite.
Yeah, I
band.
saw their lineup. They're like, it's like a baseball team.
Yeah.
Like
Because
they're
the
changing.
The main member is the guitar player.
Yeah.
He's like the main member. So, but there was one singer with the band that was in the band that was my favorite singer, and I was like, finally I can front this band the way that I want it to be, selfishly for me, and how I want these fans, and because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
So I am that kid who would buy the ticket to come there. So I had a very specific perspective that a lot of the singers didn't have, that I was like, I would like the show to be like this, or I would like, you know what I mean? So.
And they gave you the freedom to do that?
Yeah,
They let you kind of roll with that?
Yeah. So, yeah, it was great. They offered me to sing on the next album, but it hasn't, like, happened. So, yeah, it's a cool opportunity.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, for sure.
Did you have anything?
Nah,
Jess?
go ahead.
So
I'm just absorbing. This is a lot. I love it.
So I went to your sister Jill's art exhibit at
He's a lunatic.
the Outpost over the summer.
Yeah.
And
You went to that?
yeah, I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I know
Sarah?
of course, yeah, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah. Oh my God, like she was a guest on the show and stuff. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, she was a guest
love
a
Sarah.
couple months back. Yeah, but yeah, like I know Sarah, and she kind of just reached out. She's like, "Yeah, you should come to this."
Wow.
I said, "Okay, I'll go. I'm not doing anything
that's
tonight."
Awesome.
So what is that like? How how does clearly coming from like a really artistic family continue to drive you creatively?
Great question. Well, for one, it's awesome. I don't know if this answers your question, but it's awesome to see. Like I said, I grew up painting graffiti. I would like paint trains and like 287, 440, and all that. I was like really into that culture.
Were you one of those like? Did you like hop over the overpass and like graffiti the signs and stuff like that?
I was the overpass kid, like shimmying across the.
How do you do that?
There's
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Like, how do you actually do that? Because you see, like, because I drive on 287 almost every day, and I see, I'm like, wow, like,
Yeah.
I feel like an old man. I'm like, man,
There's
that's
like a
really
little
dangerous
there's a
up
little-
there.
So if you look at the overpasses, it says the road.
Yeah.
So you go to the road and you park, and then you kind of venture into down. You find where the tracks are, and then however you get to the overpass, and then you kind of climb down, and there's like a little lip, like right here is a little extension.
Yeah.
And then you kind of literally shimmy across it, and
You
it's
just
very
sort of
dangerous.
Spider-Man it.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
All right, so that's what we're gonna do then next week. We're gonna take a little field trip.
Yeah.
Jesse,
I'm not doing that.
we're gonna make Chris do it.
We're gonna make Chris do it.
Chris
He's
will
not
do it.
here, so
I'll spot
do
him.
it.
Yeah.
But
and
my
you just
point-
Spider-Man
I'm not
your way
risking
out
breaking
onto
anything
the.
else.
Yeah.
Dude.
My point was though with Jill is it's crazy to see. It's inspiring to see her be able to. I mean, that was obviously illegal, and I couldn't continue to do that. So it was a conscious decision to be like, I should go into music and tour and do
kind of
music
do it
more.
above the board.
So it's cool to see. It's inspiring to see her be able to take I'm kind of living through her, being like, wow, I wish I could have
taking like the visual art aspect.
and been a painter. 'Cause
really
I was a
doing-
painter and like have art shows and stuff. That was always a dream of mine, is taking the graffiti culture and flipping it into galleries and doing that whole thing. And I never got to do it, so it's crazy to see her.
Well, in a way, like that's kind of then, you know, if you're saying you were doing this like years ago, you know, that in a way is kind of a little bit ahead of its time, because now that's totally you know, mainstream.
Yeah. So and I'm happy that she gets to be able to do that, and so it's crazy to see those art shows and just be like, wow, this is awesome. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
wow.
Yeah, and I mean
I have a
that.
special place for that.
Yeah, and I mean that room was not empty. Like
Oh,
that
no, she's
place
got, like, a
was-
fan base. It's
yeah,
insane.
that place was packed.
Yeah, well deserved.
So let's talk about the new record. It's called The Jailbirds. It came out on February 8th. And how have you tried to differentiate this album from Loveless, from your last record?
Oh, so this is crazy. Loveless, I made Loveless after I started the Jailbirds.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot.
So it's almost like a detour. Like you kind of had this little.
So Jailbirds was 50% recorded and ready before I even started Loveless. Did I say Jailbirds was
Yeah.
50% recorded before I even started Loveless.
So what did?
It was just taking so long, and it was a conscious decision of like, I don't have a fan base. I'm fresh out of this hardcore band. Nobody knows what I'm doing. And because I started writing for Jailbirds in the back of the van on tour with Back and Forth with the acoustic. And because you're just yelling into a microphone for 10 years, and you're just like, but listening to Springsteen in the van on long drives.
Yeah.
On like 8-hour drives. And I always had an acoustic, so I started doing that in the van. I was like, so I started making this record, and then that band ended. I was like, well, I have no fan base as a solo artist. I have nothing. And this album, I don't know if you heard the album, it's like,
Yeah, I have.
so it's 8-minute song. It's like this massive thing.
Yeah.
To where it takes a long time. And I was like, I don't think I have enough time. I have to like
Yeah.
put something else out in the meantime while I finish this album. That's what Loveless was. Just like,
So you felt like so you feel like Jailbirds kind of benefited from a longer gestation.
yeah,
period.
yeah. Because if I finished that album at that point, like years ago, it definitely wouldn't be where it's at now. Like, and I didn't know Danny to be even.
Yeah.
I didn't know Jared, and I didn't know Jesse Mallon, and those are like my heroes. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy that I waited.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess, speaking of Jesse Mallon, I want to talk about one of the singles, Young and Fucked Up.
Yeah. You're the only one who's ever actually said the name of the song with the curse in it.
Oh, well, that's all right. I mean, we're not. That's
love that.
actually very.
Yeah.
That
Young and
is.
hecked up.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be. I think that's my first F-bomb on this show.
There's our
so
PG-13
congratulations.
rating. We got
yeah,
the
you
quota.
got it. Now it's TVMA.
Oh.
But I want to say you mention a lot of different themes, all just in this one song. It's like death, drugs, gangs, falling in and out of love, and all this all these things that come with, like we said up top, kind of living a few different lives.
Yeah.
And the question is, how do you convey the weight of that subject matter without, like over sensationalizing it or
Like
kind of
glorifying bad
falling
shit.
privy to like vice signaling or
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, like glorifying,
Fine.
like kind of.
Romanticizing it, you mean?
Well, yeah, like or kind of just making it, like a little overly romantic, like not. I mean, maybe you want to send a particular type of message, but I guess the question is, how do you find that balance between saying this is, these are things that happened versus these are things that happen now. Everybody go and do
it.
this same thing.
Yeah. Wow, that's such a good question. It's funny writing stuff like this. There's something happened to me like in my everyday life that just made me go crazy and with the pen, and it just came out of me. And I was actually, it wasn't. Dude, I don't even know how to answer this. That's such a good question. Well, I'm never trying to glorify anything negative or violence or gangs or anything like that. Or like, I was just trying to tell my story. and not hold back, because a lot of people hold back and use metaphors to hide stuff and like that. And I was like, you know what?
And it's a very upfront song.
Yeah,
like it's like there's no, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but there's no real reading into this.
Yeah.
Like there's,
I was like,
it's right there on the page.
I was like, this was a day in Asbury Park for me.
Yeah.
In 2005, in front of like the lanes,
Asbury Lanes,
yeah, or Club Deep, which is now Langosta. Like we've been here for years and like playing shows before the gentrification and all this stuff, and like and this was just a day, and we were like, I was like,
and this was like an abandoned industrial.
I know,
building.
and I was like, I'm so sick and tired of not telling my true story, and where I come from, and hiding it, you know. Because we were young and fucked up, and this is exactly what happened, and something in my life triggered that, me wanting to, and I didn't even think about it. That just came out like that. That's why there's no metaphors. I just wrote it like that, and it was done. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
My last question, because we had to get ourselves wrapped up, is in your Billboard interview, you mention a person. That the person that's actually in this music video, a person that you, to whom you never really got to reveal your feelings. How do moments of unfulfilled possibility inspire your writing?
Say that again.
How do moments of unfulfilled possibility, or maybe regrets or wishing you would have kind of done one thing, or wishing situations would have been a little different?
It definitely fuels,
like what could have been.
Yeah, it's all I think about, especially that situation. It's all I think about every day. I think all of my content, and I mean, even with Back and Forth, all of those records were about that girl. Like we've lost a lot of people, and not to be like heavy or anything, but like that's like, I mean, come from hardcore. That's why you do it, is to keep them alive. And we don't make songs for fun or for like bullshit or to drink. I don't even drink. Like I've never even been drunk in my life. Like we don't do that. We make music for a purpose and a message, and to keep those type of people alive. And like, so what could have been is everything, and those people are everything,
Oh, so I understand.
Yeah,
very much. I understand that quite a bit. Yeah.
So that's it's not a matter of being inspired by that. It's a matter of that's like the point. You know what I mean? And inspiration comes after that. That's kind of like why we wake up in the morning, and then inspiration comes after that, where it's like, all right, we're inspired by this to tell this person's story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
I
that sound like
really do.
lunatic.
Yeah. No, that's great. Matty Carlock, thank you so much for being here. We're going to hear you play a couple songs in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Matty Carlock, everybody. All right, Jesse, what do we got coming up next here? What do we got?
I believe we have You Don't Know Jersey. OneMore is sponsored by...
Oh, really?
Yeah, You Don't Know Jersey. Owned and operated by Alice and Ed Maziak. You Don't Know Jersey has been bringing its readers all the best in Garden State sports, music, art, film, and culture for nearly a decade. Hey, Melissa, have you ever wondered where you could find some of Brian's mediocre writing? Well, you're in luck, because for some God only knows reason, You Don't Know Jersey houses most of it. So whether you're in High Point, Cape May, or anywhere in between, visit youdon'tknowjersey.com. You don't know Jersey, because really, you just don't.
Yes. Got it this week.
He's a singer, guitarist, composer, and member of the band Finding Phoebus. Let us welcome Alejandro Ataucusi.
Hello and welcome.
Hello. Hey, Brian.
Welcome, sir. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm so happy you're here.
I am too.
Good. Well, I would hope so. So when are we going to get that Rollbacks EP?
Oh, that band, I stopped playing with them last year.
Yeah. Because I remember hearing the song Carnival.
Right.
Carnival.
Right.
I think when I listened to your Live from the Dining Room episode with Joe Gallupo like 2 years ago. So that band is done now?
Yep.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What happened with that? Because that was, I heard that song. I was really compelled by
Yeah,
it.
I think
And I thought you guys were doing something really interesting with, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but just kind of the fusion of a couple different styles of music.
I was looking for something more consistent musically, and I don't think I was getting that after a while, and I thought it was time for me to move on. I mean, I've been playing with some of those guys for over 10 years,
Oh, okay.
and it was sort of a way for me. What if I find new musicians and try something different now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you also play in Finding Phoebus, and you've
Yeah.
been playing in that band for since I guess was the end of 2016, beginning of 2017.
Beginning of 2017, yeah.
You guys just played a really good show at the Saint last weekend, right?
I think that was my favorite show.
Yeah, that show went okay.
It was great. yeah. We had a good turnout. Sound-wise, it was my first time at the Saint. I was very happy with how everything turned out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And is it important to you specifically, just given all your experience as a performer and a musician and a writer and everything, is it important to you specifically to be a part of shows like that, kind of bigger event type shows?
I think different is always good. I'm used to play restaurants, cafes. I don't get to play many music venues like the Saint.
Yeah.
It's a different feel, and sort of like, even though I've been playing for a while, it gets intimidating. Because you don't know who's going to be in the crowd. Sometimes just musicians and non-musicians, and then they're staring at you,
Yeah.
and then you're just trying to do your best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't we know that, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's horrifying a lot of times. It just, especially when it's smaller crowds, when you're in like cafes and stuff, you can see people's eyes, and when you make really like direct eye contact, and it can shake you up.
Oh yeah.
So just,
I mean, a room full of 20 people that are just watching you, I think, is more terrifying than a room of, a couple hundred people, just all kind of, they're
Milling
there,
about.
but they're sort of milling around.
Yeah.
I would take that over just 20 sets of eyes all paying very close attention.
for sure.
But now, what makes you, we're talking about like the difference between playing, cafes and things like that versus, proper music venues. What makes you feel legitimate or validated as a player, as a musician?
I think regardless of where I'm playing, what's important is that people could see the effort that I'm putting in when I'm playing live. Whether I'm singing or I'm just the guitarist for Finding Phoebus. Either way, I think it's challenging because somehow I think each of us are trying to stand out. Whether we're just playing the bass and it's just the bass guy,
Yeah.
or you're the singer or the guitar player. Every scenario is different, but it's hard for me to generalize how I would feel in a cafe compared to a music venue like the Saint. I just think it's hard to tell.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, what makes you, what do you get the most fulfillment out of? Like, what makes you, if you play a show and you say, that wasn't really worth it, versus something where you say, oh, that was great, and now I feel, maybe like I've been built up just a little bit more after a particular experience.
Maybe when somebody in the crowd tells you, when are you guys playing again?
Okay.
Regardless
That's
of whether
a nice,
the place
that
is
a nice
packed or
feeling.
it's empty.
Yeah.
Sometimes the place could be packed, but maybe nobody's paying attention to you.
Yeah.
Whereas you only have 10 people, and it becomes a listening room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that must
sure.
be, that is a nice feeling too.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
someone says, when can we come see you again?
I think especially after those big shows where like no one's really paying attention, that one person who comes up to you and is just like, hey, I really liked your set. When can I see you play again?
Yeah.
It's really fulfilling. It makes it
Yeah.
worth it.
Or when's your record coming out, Jesse?
Look, I'm working on it. Okay. This is not about me.
I
This
know,
is about
I know.
Alejandro.
How do you come to be involved in Finding Phoebus in the first place?
Brittany approached me at one of the open mics, and at first I thought, well, maybe this is just a one gig kind of thing.
2 years later,
2 years
2.5
later,
years later,
I'm still playing.
and an EP and a single, and I guess there's some new songs now too. How does performing in a band like that challenge you?
Well, I'm a team player, so even though I'm not the singer in that band, I'm trying not to get on the way of the singer. So my job is to enhance whatever the singer is doing.
Yeah.
Not only that, but there are two guitar players. Nikki is the rhythm guitarist and mainly the one who she writes all the songs.
Yeah.
So whatever she gives me, I try to work around that. Whether there's any limitations or not, I just do the best I can. Not only that, but even though it's a punk rock band, whatever you want to call it, I still go back and forth clean and overdrive.
Well, yeah.
Whether
that's what I noticed too. Is you usually play that Godin, kind of semi-hollow,
and I try to fit in some jazz chords on top of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's the point. It's to experiment with new things.
Yeah, and how rewarding do you find it when you can, when you can sort of embark on those new things, when you can try those new things, and still succeed? When you can bring those elements of jazz into just these kind of heavy power chord situations.
I think once everybody in the band gives me the approval, then I guess it was a success.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
yeah,
So I wanted to, talk about. I wanted to ask another question about the rollbacks, if that's okay. So that was, I looked it up. I saw they still have their Reverb Nation page up, and
probably do. Yeah.
it's and this fits with what you're doing now in Finding Phoebus. They basically rollbacks said essentially that the goal was to fuse Latin music with rock, jazz, and funk. How well do you feel you accomplished that?
I think it is an area that I'm still exploring, especially when people think of Latin music, they mainly think of Cuba or Brazil, but then you have all these countries in South America, Peru, Colombia, Ecuador.
And you're Peruvian, correct?
I am, yeah. And the whole concept of Latin music, I think, would be explored even more, especially for the American crowd, who is maybe not familiar with that type of music.
And you've also performed, internationally, right? Didn't you spend some time in Australia?
Oh, I did, yeah.
And I forget, did you teach over there, or did you just perform, or was it a little bit of?
So I was working at Macquarie University in Sydney for
Okay.
some time. And then my time off, I would just go busking in Sydney. And then I actually got a show
Did you
right
really?
downtown Sydney.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How was that? What was that like?
That was very intimidating. I didn't know how it was going to be. Because it was right in the downtown, people would come and go all the time.
Yeah.
And you just don't know what to expect, Especially it's like middle of the day and it's summer. But then some people would stay and then they would talk to you afterwards. Others would be just like, it's just music,
Yeah.
like we get all the time here.
Background noise.
Yeah. I wish I had done more of that performing, but most of my time was devoted at Macquarie University.
Okay. And what is that? What kind of teaching did you do when you were over there?
I was not teaching. I was doing research with music.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working for the psychology department over there.
What kind of research were you doing?
Mainly, I was focusing on the censorship of violent music,
Oh,
like death metal.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Huh.
And what were
did
your
you
research findings?
Well, I was focusing on how the level of aggressiveness you could find in certain kinds of music. Like just because you have Cannibal Corpse
Yeah.
Okay.
playing very upbeat music, and then they may have some lyrics that talks about killing somebody, raping somebody, would it be perceived the same way if you have a little girl playing the harp, singing the same lyrics, maybe slowing down the tempo of the song? Would it still be perceived the same way as five guys with long hair playing that kind of music? Would people perceive it as we shouldn't listen to it?
Wow.
Interesting.
I never really thought about
Yeah.
it in that context. Because you kind of, I guess, you always sort of associate, a specific type of music in that specific type of way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Wow. So did you come to any conclusions with this? Like, this is actually really interesting.
It's hard to tell because a lot of people think that by listening to that kind of music, it may affect your behavior. You become aggressive just because you're listening to that kind of music. And it is almost a stereotype. People, if you listen to punk, then you're behave like this or like that. If
Yeah.
you listen to jazz or classical music, then you're intellectual or
Yeah.
something. But there's really, it's hard to tell because what research tells us is that some people might even have this kind of behavior before they listen to the kind of music. Other people just get used to it. When they get used to listening to a type of music, they don't perceive any kind of violence.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the more you listen to it, the more you understand the lyrics compared to somebody who doesn't listen to a type of music. You don't like something you don't understand.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm just really interested by that. I don't really have anything to add. That's really cool.
Yeah. Wow. That's really great.
Yeah.
And you got to go do this, like, for
In Australia.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
So
That's so cool.
we do have to get wrapped up, though. I
Yeah.
feel like we could, we should move this over to like the beer garden after this, but and finish this conversation. But you've got, first I want to make sure we tell everybody you get a show this Friday. Finding Phoebus is playing at the Asbury Hotel.
Yeah.
My last question, and I guess this does kind of have to do with what we just talked about in terms of, perceiving different types of music in different ways. In your opinion, why is it important to always be listening out for new things?
Well, you don't want to limit yourself to the same thing. It's like eating pizza every day, right?
Which I could totally do, though.
I guess
You could do it, but that doesn't mean it's going to taste good after a while.
It's gonna still taste good.
I mean,
But music, no. Pizza, yes. Music, no.
Yeah.
I was born in Peru, and I probably didn't listen to the same type of music you guys listen growing up. And then when I listened to American pop music, this may actually sounds almost like maybe Peruvian folk music or Afro-Peruvian folk music.
Wow.
Maybe there are some elements. Or what if I were to add some Afro-Peruvian elements to pop music? And I think by listening to different types of music, you look at everything in a different way. And you can take things from different styles.
Nice.
Excellent.
It just keeps things more interesting. I mean, I don't see myself playing jazz or Brazilian music all the time. I think you can learn anything from the simplest or the most complex types of music.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming, and we're going to hear some music.
Yeah.
We're actually going to get you set up. We're going to hear some
Okay.
music right now.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having me.
much, Alejandro.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get you set up. Jess is going to read some ads.
I am. But I'm going to pick up the one that I accidentally threw over here. Doofus. This one?
Sure.
I'm just making sure. Your show. I'm just living in it. Right? It's Brian's show? It's Brian's show.
It's our show.
When did that happen?
It's the world.
OneMore with Brian Erickson is brought to you by the Asbury Park Music Foundation. APMF raises money to support youth music programs throughout Asbury Park that provide lasting skills, self-confidence, and life-changing experiences for underserved kids in our community. This includes funding for the Hip Hop Institute at the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth, in-school music programs at Hope Academy, and scholarships for kids to attend Lake House Music Academy. APMF also hosts concert series throughout the year, whether it's Music Mondays at Springwood Park, or Asbury Park Live over the summer, Suburbia Friday nights, or the Singer-Songwriter series. APMF always has something going on. Check out their calendar for more details. And if you're interested in making a meaningful donation in the community, or keeping Asbury Park's legacy of music alive, head to asburyparkmusiclives.org to make a donation. And while you're there, pick up a Music Saved Asbury Park t-shirt. All proceeds make it possible to support the Music Saved My Life youth music programs. OneMore is also brought to you by Bordentown Guitar Rescue. Founded by certified luthier Mike Vierock, BGR has been building, modifying, customizing, and repairing stringed instruments since 2012. So why wait a month for a basic setup from one of the big retailers when Bordentown Guitar Rescue has the quickest turnaround time in the state? So whether your body is warped, your neck is bent, or your bridge needs a new saddle, call certified luthier Mike Vierock for an estimate. Bordentown Guitar Rescue. If it's good enough for that guy in Stone Temple Pilots, it's good enough for you. And now, without further ado, Alejandro Ataucusi. Did I get it right?
I'm going to dedicate this song to my friend from Australia. His name is Jeff. He's watching the show right now. I think whether it's Tuesday, almost 11 a.m. It's for you. The song is called A Felicidade. Thank you. So I'll just make it up. Right, before I play the next song, let me tell you what this instrument is called. It's called charango. It's from South America, and it was actually the very first instrument that I learned how to play. And I'm going to play a song that's very well known. It's called El Condor Pasa. It's my own arrangement, and I hope you like it. Thank you.
March 11th. Monday, March 11th, Bobby Mahoney is at the Flemington DIY right now. Drive with your phone watching this show. Matt Smith says it's okay. Tuesday, March 12th, Riley Shiro, Max Carmichael, and Gary Wright at the Downtown. That's at 7 p.m. Songwriter Showcase featuring John and Angelo, Shello Minaccio, and Patrick Bambarak? Patrick Bambarak, featuring the visual art of Alexandria Savastano at Cafe Artiste at the Jersey Shore Arts Center. That's at 7 p.m. Tony Saxon's new project, Serpent Worship, is at Pet Shop in Jersey City at 9 p.m. And then Wednesday, March 13th, Megan O'Shea presents Jessie McCormick, never heard of her, Paul Rosevear, and Dan Rockwork at the Asbury Hotel. That's at 8 p.m. Thursday, March 14th, Jersey Rock Showcase featuring Frankenstein 3000, Vexion, Rope Tree, and the Scullers at the Wonder Bar at 7 p.m. Jenny and the Felines, Devil's Bubblegum, Orsini 4 at Debonair Music Hall at 7 p.m. Blood Moons, P.A. Angelo, Columnaris?
Let's see. Columnaris.
And Yawning at 90 Main in Flemington at 7:30 p.m. Friday, March 15th. Those Funky Sad Men in Experiment 34 are opening for Everlast at the Starland Ballroom. I know I'll be making my way over there at 7 p.m. Toy Cars, Old Soul, Teenage Halloween, and Blaze at the Whitechapel Projects in 7 p.m. Candy Cavity, Windward, WV, Hot Lips, and the Walkarounds at the Saint at 7:30 p.m. Dave Mooney and Viewers Like You, the Ellis Wilkinson Band, and the Components at John and Peters at 8 p.m. Spit Take, Joy Cleaner, The Natural, and Where Is My Spaceship at In the West at 8 p.m. Finding Phoebus, All Right Jr., Obil, and the Belviduo at the Asbury Hotel at 8:30 p.m. And the Successful Failures at Triumph, New Hope, 9 p.m. Saturday, March 16th, let's get folked up with Chris Brown AP, Ben Resnick, Devin Alana, Jeff Linden, Robert Ender, and Bottled Blonde at Danny Clinch Gallery at 4 p.m. The Successful Failures at Loretta Winery at 4:30 p.m. The Fuzz album release party is at Debonair Music Hall at 5 p.m. Jackie June is at Sage Coffee House at 7 p.m. The Close Talkers are at the Boxcar Bar at 8 p.m. Jesse Elliott, oh God, Brian, help. What? Matt Pischel, and Brian Erickson, never heard of him. John and Peters, 8 p.m. The Burns at Asbury Hotel, the Big Dumb Burns. Whose bassist isn't here because he's sick, and that's at 9 p.m.
What is he sick with, Jess?
I heard he's got the poops, Brian. We actually did it. Oh, look, I didn't think I was going to be the one to do it, but I'm so honored that I was. He has a stomach ache. We love you, Chris. Zaritza and Natalie Farrell, APYC, 9 p.m. And Sunday, February 17th. February 17th, Brian. March 17th, learn to write. It's Happy St. Patrick's Day, you filthy animals. The Successful Failures at Killarney Public House at 12 p.m. Well-wisher, no thank you. Earth Telephone, Kate dressed up at the Music Ward at 7 p.m. And close out your weekend with Cook Douglas, The Do Rights, and Dazed at the Scarlet Pub at 8 p.m. And now, without further ado, I give you Matty Carlock.
Hugging parkway lines, chasing faraway eyes, black coffee and blue-collar charm, dirty Converses, pinned up jean jacket under a garden state, rising sun from dying days, smoky nights, a midnight escape. Not without a fight, I hope I pass safe, crossing the end. She's got me believing in love tonight. Geraldine, how have you been? It's been a long, long while. Geraldine, how have you been? It's been a long, long while. Here without your smile. Friends over family, any blood don't mean a thing. A youthful code our wounded hearts would bring to the pavement where we rest our heads, but in our dreams we'd sing. From the dugouts where they'd fill their heads, cocaine and heroin. At undiscovered, an October crisp, from Kate's house of abandoned romantic suite, we slept like the dead, Lord, we dearly missed. We lived the famous line, boys, it is what it is. She's got me believing in love tonight. Geraldine, how have you been? It's been a long, long while. Geraldine, how have you been? It's been a long, long while. Those Sailor Jerry tattoos may fade. Those Sailor Jerry tattoos may fade, babe. Those Sailor Jerry tattoos may fade, but never your smile. I miss that puppy. Yeah, we all do. All right. We drove all night, darling, are you alright? Are you down on your luck? 'Cause I really don't give a fuck about what they say. We got nothing left but the beating in our chest, the stars where we dream about getting clean. From the hood of my car, baby, where we lay. And Janie, I'll throw my fist for you. The blood dripping down my broken nose speaks the truth. She said, pick me up. We'll join the circus now. She said, loosen up. We're either gonna die tonight or gonna finish these drugs off somehow. For the last time, we can drive out of state, change both our names like outlaws on the run. Annie, like we robbed a bank. And you're a criminal of love. Show me the way to your heart. We can be more than this. Baby, my word is bond. And when she lit it up, She said her mama didn't know. And our former lovers don't matter, 'cause I swear we're never coming home. Another table, another tip. These track marks crawl right up to my wrist. Another pill down my throat. All my friends are dead, they fucking overdose. Baby, I swear I'm gonna sell 'em our house out on Cookman tonight. I'm gonna break us free out a little Eden tonight. Still, my love, baby, don't forget my name. When you flee in my arms, baby, like a sweet midnight escape. Then we parked on this side of I-95. Yeah, we made love in the backseat all night till the sunrise. Baby, I swear I'll tie my arm off for your love tonight. You're the brightest star in the sky. A love like Suboxone, you're the only hope I see. You're the only heroin I need. You're the only heroin I need. Forever young, side by side, 17, you and me. Thank you. What am I doing? Oh,
yeah, no, we're just doing our outro.
Okay.
You can hang out right there.
I'm chilling. Okay.
Yeah. Matty Carlock
Puppies.
Alejandro Ataucusi. And real quick, we missed a little something during Alejandro's interview. He wants to give a plug to a new project.
Oh, yeah. So I have a new Afro-Peruvian jazz band. It's called Forbidden Tropics. You can follow us on Instagram as Forbidden Tropics Official and Forbidden Tropics Official on Facebook as well. And I'm going to be playing my biggest concert of the year on April 28th with the William Patterson University Latin Jazz Ensemble at 4 p.m.
Excellent. We'll make sure we get there. Alejandro, Matty, Jesse McCormick from the Asbury Park Music Foundation. I have been, and I remain Brian Erickson. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
That's so solid.